You suck at the present tense in Spanish. Here's how it works. Unlike English, verbs in Spanish follow three categories: AR, ER, and IR. Let's start with AR. Here are two examples of AR verbs. Estudiar, to study. You conjugate it as follows. Yo estudio, I study. Tú estudias, you study. Él estudia, he studies. Nosotros estudiamos, we study. Ellos estudian, they study. Another one, bailar, also ends in AR because I put it under AR, right? That's why. Bailar, to dance, okay? To conjugate, yo bailo, I dance. Tú bailas, you dance. Ella baila, she dances. Nosotras bailamos, we dance. Ellas bailan, they dance. This is literally the same exact thing, except for other than A, they use E, okay? Ready. Beber, to drink. Yo bebo, I drink. Tú bebes, you drink. Él bebe, he drinks. Nosotros bebemos, we drink. Ellos beben, they drink. Vender, to sell, also ends in ER. It's under ER. That's why. Vender, to sell. Yo vendo, I sell. Tú vendes, you sell. Ella vende, she sells. Nosotros vendemos, they sell. Ellas venden, they sell. See, it's the same thing. Again, this is literally the same thing. If you can't understand this by now, I don't know what to tell you. You're probably cooked. But anyway, these end in IR, unlike ER and AR. That is the difference. And actually, they follow the ER conjugations very closely, except for nosotros. For example, escribir, to write. Yo escribo, I write. Tú escribes, you write. Él escribe, he writes. Nosotros escribimos. You could see the difference is instead of escribemos, it's escribimos because it's an IR verb. That's the difference. That's it. Ellos escriben, they write. Subir, to go up, climb, rise. Yo subo, tú sabes. Ella sube, nosotros subimos. Ellas suben. See, it's the same thing. Here are some very irregular verbs in Spanish that are unfortunately very common. By irregular, I mean that they don't follow an easy pattern like the AR, ER, and IR verbs. You're just gonna have to memorize them. Sorry, bro. Ser, to be. Yo soy, I am. Tú eres, you are. Él es, he is. Nosotros somos, we are. Ellos son, they are. Ir, to go. Yo voy, I go. Tú vas, you go. Ella va, she goes. Nosotras vamos, we go. Ellas van, they go. Tener, to have. Yo tengo, I have. Tú tienes, you have. Él tiene, he has. Nosotros tenemos, we have. Ellos tienen, they have. Hacer, to make. Yo hago, I make. Tú haces, you make. Ella hace, she makes. Nosotras hacemos, we make. Ellas hacen, they make. Decir, to say. Yo digo, I say. Tú dices, you say. Él dice, he says. Nosotros decimos. We say, ellos dicen, they say. Spanish says that some verbs need to change their spelling and stem for some reason. We're not too sure why, but nosotros doesn't have to also for some reason. For example, some verbs that have O in them become UE. For example, dormir, to sleep. Yo duermo, tú duermes. Él duerme. Nosotros dormimos. Huh? Ellos duermen. Okay, again, sometimes E becomes IE. Again, I don't know why. E to IE. Querer, to want. Yo quiero, tú quieras. Tú quieres, sorry. Ella quieres. Nosotras queremos. Ellas quieren. Again, nosotros didn't change. We don't know why. Sometimes E goes to I. Pedir, to ask. Yo pido, tú pides. Él pide. Nosotros pedimos. Didn't change again. Ellos piden. Spanish will also change the ending of some verbs just to keep their original sound. For example, conocer, to know people. If you said conozco without the Z, that wouldn't keep the original says sound. So they put a Z in there. For example, yo conozco. Tú conoces. That doesn't have a Z because CES already does that. But if it was just go without a Z, it would be conozco. So you need the Z to say conozco to keep the conocer sound to it. Verbs that end in UIR tend to do this thing with a Y to keep that UIR sound. For example, construir, construyó, construes. If it was just like construes, it wouldn't have that UI that the construir has. You understand? So construir, to build. Yo construyó, tú construyes. Ella construye. Nosotras construimos. That doesn't have to because imos already has that I to it. So, construyen, they build. Does that make sense? A lot of verbs that end in GER also do this. I would actually say all of them probably, but don't quote me on that. I'm not fluent. But anyway, escoger means to choose. So, if you said escogo, right? Because if you did esco with an O, that would have to make the go sound. You can't make a ho unless there's an E there. So, Spanish changes it to a J. So yo escojo, tú escoges. It doesn't have to change here because there's already an E after it, which makes that sound. Make sense? So escoger, to choose. Yo escojo, tú escoges, él escoge, nosotros escogemos, ellas escogen. Yeah, man, it's really not that complicated. Just write these things down and review them every so often. You'll really understand it more just by listening to the language and practicing with native speakers. But, I don't know anything. I'm not fluent.